In our streaming-obsessed world, do you miss DVD commentary tracks? Well, fear not, because I, Von Fry, the most scorned critic on YouTube, am here to provide you with tracks for those movies streaming that we love and sometimes love to hate. Tonight, a bit of a bittersweet treat for you. One of the lesser films in a legendary sci-fi franchise. We're watching from 1997, Alien Resurrection, starring Sigourney Weaver, Ron Perlman, Winona Ryder, and I'm sure some other people. But first, I want to give a quick mention to my buddies over at calderalab.com, makers of the finest skincare in America. It will have you looking like a clone. Use my promo code FRY15 to save 15% at checkout. Okay, if you guys would like to watch along to Alien Resurrection, get your popcorn ready. I've got mine. I've got butter in there, plus Reese's Pieces. I've got a fresh bottled IBC root beer. Let's open that up, get this recorded here. Okay, I didn't expect to drop that, but that's a thing that happened just now. That's how it goes sometimes. So let's go ahead, and because this is actually on Starz, we can't really say 0000. We're going to go 10 seconds in. So it's a black screen after the Starz presentation thing. See, this could get bounced around. It could go back to Hulu. It could go to Tubi. Actually, if it's on Tubi, you can't watch it this way because there's going to be ad breaks. But 10 seconds in on Starz, and it's a black screen. Hit play now. And I'm wondering how much of that Fox fanfare is picking up. I didn't mind this intro right here, but when you see this one, you know you're not getting a classic. I mean, now we could say 90s movies are classic. It's kind of a tough pill for me to swallow, but this is a movie that I saw in theaters. Let's see, is this, until Prometheus, the only Alien film I've seen in theater. Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder. That's odd casting right there. Oh yes, The Green of 1997. Ron Perlman. He is, I guess, buddies with, and Dan Hedaya. I forgot about him. I'm predicting that he dies soon. Like on my recent commentary tracks I did was Commando, where he's one of the villains, and he's not really a villain here, but Raymond Cruz, I think he's Clear and Present Danger. Kim Flowers, this might be her only movie. Gary Durden, CSI. But yeah, I think Dan Hedaya is going to die. He might be dead by the time I post this. Michael Wincott, one of the few films where he's not the bad guy. Actually did a video, it may not be out by the time I do this. I'm dropping popcorn, I'm sorry, on Strange Days, in which you think he's the villain, but yeah. Alec Gillis, a friend of mine who I think canceled his own Twitter account, made the Alien effects since, really he'd been working on the franchise since Aliens, but his team had been the lead on the effects from Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, AVP, AVP2, I think even Predators. And the basic alien in The Predator, but not Alien Covenant. I asked him about it. He said, nah, they're going to go CGI. Written by Joss Whedon. Keep that in mind, guys. The writer of Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I might have said that wrong. I think his previous film before this, 1995, City of Lost Children, starring Ron Perlman, so that's why he's here. Standing crew, we haven't, aside from all the distortion in the right up front, this isn't too unfamiliar for an Alien series introduction here. Like we have the clone model being made here. I think this is Puppet, made by Alec Gillis here. Quoting Aliens. Give you a little member berries. I know he's shown off on his Twitter. I think maybe his Instagram. Does he have an Instagram? Or his effects company does, that they were able to capture Sigourney Weaver's nervous smile in the live cast. Brad Dourif, man, he is he's probably the best actor for the dollar. You could probably get him to play the lead in, well, now he's 7. I don't have any idea now, but yeah, you could probably get him to work in your indie film. Like, seriously. I know this is going to get loud at some point, but I'm going to turn the volume up on my end a little on my TV. Yeah, I know there's some discrepancy between the sort of alien that kind of seems to come out of her in this state versus how it looked in Alien 3. And I think a lot of that could depend on what version of Alien 3 you're watching. Look, doesn't member berries. Doesn't this look a lot like the first Alien? Like this similar shot of it kind of being extracted versus how it burst out of Kane. You know, another thing about me predicting celebrity deaths, man, it works pretty well when it's the Alien franchise, because the first one I got, I was aiming for Harry Dean Stanton, and I got John, the guy that played Kane. I got him first. Okay, so Ripley has been cloned so that the company, I think it's a different company by this point, wants to, the bioweapon. Hey, we got a blood sample and we can clone her somehow. This is way up in the future. I think they might have said 500 years. I'm trying to recall. But I don't think the DNA thing works like that, especially how could have known what she was carrying and such, but they could have gotten rid of her body. Now there might be some advantages to having her around. Let's put her in some cheesecloth shroud and leave her in this circular dungeon of sorts. My mom took me and my best friend to see this. I don't think my little brother went. I could be mistaken. Of course, most of you recognize Brad Dourif's voice as he's the voice of Chucky. Not Chucky Finster. I'm talking about the killer doll. I mean, they put a little bit of effort into seeing what they can do with her. But I'm thinking the ramifications of what she could provide them. Like, heck, maybe there's anti-aging, longevity, cure to cancer. You like to throw that around when the villains want to do villainy things. But we're looking for cancer. Might put a little bit more effort into getting her up to speed and whatever, but it's a little haphazard compared to what they got going on with the alien, the xenomorph. Boom, upside the head. Basic handcuffs just weren't going to work. Nice variation on the straitjacket. I am put off by kind of the costuming in this film, the hair and makeup, the hair, giving people these kind of like rat tails. I guess you need to make them look different than they do today. So a lot of people are situated. And Brad Dourif is weird in this film. Heck, even when he gets his comeuppance, I'm not so sure he didn't really want it. Dan Hedaya there is like, I guess, the general of the area. Got Starz, or is he an admiral? Which is it? Highly evolved form of insect. Maybe we should... Well, an insect has an exoskeleton, right? Do the xenomorphs necessarily have an endoskeleton or an exoskeleton? Got the subtitles on, and they are moving all across the screen. Maybe from the start they should have figured that we have to keep her around these things because she might be our best defense against them. But they didn't. Now, I do say that modern films are pretty ugly. The modern sci-fi equivalent of this might, I guess, in comparison, Alien Covenant looks better than this. This is so dimly lit. And, I mean, it gets to be a real problem in the Alien/Predator franchise when you get to AVP 2. AVP didn't look that great, but here we go. We got a queen grown here, and we know it's massive. Got to learn what a fork is. It's amazing how quickly she gets the language together. But we also get really wishy-washy with what her character is. She's like stoic blank slate, and then she, at times throughout the film, it's like hey, I can't remember my life without these aliens. Okay, my life, I guess, but she speaks of it like she's Ripley and not the clone of Ellen Ripley. She'll breed, you'll die. Now look, there are some decent lines in this, and I know that Joss Whedon has said, I'm going to take a sip of the root beer, that it's the direction of the film that faults it, that things are edited out. You see a rough draft of Firefly in this. The crew of the Betty that comes by to bring prisoners to be fed to the eggs to make more xenomorphs for the queen and such. They're very proto-Firefly. Hey, we're just some space douchebags out here doing our job, whatever. Why are you picking on her? Is that smart? The contrast here is stark. It's like things are white, but most things are black. We don't really have a lot in the way of like key light, rim light. It's sort of just like minimal fill light in a way. City of Lost Children, not too dissimilar with its brownish tones in places, but yeah, I've seen two films by this. Well, actually, I think everybody... The weird thing about the Alien franchise, for a while, The first 4 movies. Oh, there's a clip from their Alien Resurrection arcade game that I think was unreleased that got kind of put into the film. Kind of showed that arcade game there sitting in there in the Betty. You know, makes them eccentric and cool. At any rate, what was I saying here? Yeah, the first 4 Alien films, the directors went on to do big things. So that includes this one. And I guess Amelie is one of those big things. It's a movie I hate, but women seem to enjoy. And there we have Call, Winona Ryder, one of the blandest of characters. Ron Perlman kind of acting like a caveman here. Not, it could be a throwback to Quest for Fire. Look, a callback. Joner, huh? So he sticks this knife in the crippled guy. Oh, it's okay. He can't feel it. Yeah, well, he still has a wound. Like, this could still cause a problem. It is weird, though. You get the sense out of Ron Perlman. Broke that knife real easy. Is it a tell right there that Winona Ryder is an android? Because she is. So here we are with our real informal space bounty hunter gig Uber Eats people. Man, look how dark it is. We're still in a time where we got cool miniatures for spaceships. So a lot of this looks better than the 90s stuff that went all CGI spaceships for the most part. I mean, nothing much has really happened so far to put you off. You still kind of think you're in the aliens universe that the commoditized space travel. Now we have the space truckers. Not everything's all bright and shiny. The dirty side of space. I'm not entirely sure how the pat down process got this guy through with his taxi driver gun akimbo device, but must not have any real external backscatter scanning, metal detector. Except on this guy's hand. How come he didn't catch this on the other dude? I have a thermos. Ron Perlman is douchey enough, especially to his own the crew he belongs in, that you think he wouldn't make it. That you think he'd be one of the first ones dead. Dude's wheelchair is so out of whack. Like, it's not fitting for this film or environment, is it? It's so all-terrain and beefy and impractical. Yeah, we still have currency. printed on paper. Here we go. I had to go out of our way to make a fancy liquor de-icer. It's a good looking effect. I think it could have looked a lot worse. Now they're saying things about Call. I don't know. I mean, Kim Flowers, whatever the hell her character's name, it ain't looking too bad either. This is Winona Ryder near the height of her powers. Movie-wise, trailed off some. You know, some things just weren't as big a hits as they had hoped for in the mid-90s. Like, I think Dracula in 92 underperformed. All right, let's move the cargo in. This is one of the more action-packed of the Alien films. It leans much more towards Aliens than Alien 3, made of reference Alien. Unfortunately, the action in this, it's not terribly innovative. I mean, they, on paper, hey, we have to go swimming. We have to climb. Like, I mean, it sounds like it would have turned out more exciting than it comes across. You didn't really get an action director for this. You got a guy who did like a quirky, weird, steampunkish sci-fi film and a fantasy in Delicatessen. Actually, I guess both of those kind of have a weird throwback, alternate history look about them. Delicatessen and City of Lost Children. Man, I wonder what she did over there on the left. Usually it's the guys that get the death penalty this way. How do you know these eggs are going to activate at the same time? Like, how well did they understand the eggs? Oh, do you need these people to wake? Like, the face hugger's only going to get you if you have the fear. Your fear activates it. Like, how coincidental is this? Sigourney Weaver, interesting outfit here with the brown, but the shoes, I don't know what those are. It looks like we have a Nike Air window in the back, but it's kind of like got like a cloth apron over it. Like, it's weird. Everybody's got to try to pick on Sigourney Weaver. How come she hasn't kicked more ass? Like, just abruptly. How come? Why do they even have access to her? Like, these are questions. You know, being in 97, this was a time where you just kind of are able to address the plot holes. This is before J.J. Abrams invented the concept of throwing so many of them at you, changing the subject before you have time to even consider that what you just watched doesn't make any sense. Now look, Sigourney Weaver, 5'11", probably has some experience playing basketball. 5'11" gives you good advantage over most girls. Didn't do that dunk, but she hits a, so now she gets to rough people up. We get to finally see what she can do. I'm not sure about palming the ball so much, but tag. Ooh. Acid blood, you better watch out. I mean, she's showing some restraint here, not like snapping necks. She makes a shot at like walking away reverse behind the... Is it considered behind the back? Throws it over her back. One-handed. Makes it. And if you look carefully, Ron Perlman is astonished. And they cut around his reaction more because it's like, yes, to more of a surprise. There we see the acid blood. She picked, hey, good feature to have right there. Maybe. I mean, it could damage your clothes or your house, but your spaceship. What do we got going on here? Okay, this is a movie for those of you into feet. Is there a burning process to shoe polish? Or was there a reason we needed to see that? Just weird. I'm trying to remember what this guy's whole thing is. He's gathering the ammo on the Betty. Or he invaded the armory, like, and they're not allowed to go back to their ship just yet. I can't remember the logistics here, but for some reason, these people dropped off a bunch of prisoners and have to stick around. I think they cooked up some excuse for it. Composite shot here, not awful. Yeah, Brad Dourif, do you really need to check in on these guys? I'd like to keep my distance. How many prisoners were brought to you to get as many samples as you got? Now, I know Dane Cook had this, let's say, infamous comedy set where he talked about, oh, the alien, it spits acid. Doesn't spit acid in Alien. Doesn't spit acid in Aliens. I don't believe it spits acid in Alien 3. I've heard people debate otherwise. Spits acid in Alien Resurrection, which I don't like. I kind of don't like how inconsistent we are with a lot of the Alien stuff. Like, as we get later into the films, it's like, oh yeah, they come from this jar that eventually you can breed stuff up till it gets perfect. It gets to the xenomorph. Well, how do you know that's the ultimate one? I guess you haven't seen the Queen yet. I kind of like them just simply being creatures, like any other creature, but behaving like having a bit of the hive mind. I think everything established in Aliens really should be what we go with. You know, you see the Queen, she's badass, man. And that was fine with me. Where we take it from there, where about the breeding process, why does she have boxing gloves on? Like, is she supposed to be drunk and trying to drink a coffee? Weird comedic. Yeah, Joss Whedon thinks this will give you characters. This makes them endearing, but just stupid moments don't work for me. Also, Winona throws those boxing gloves down, hits the camera shakes. You don't see a lot of diegetic camera in film like that. Though it is a mistake. The camera isn't supposed to be in the film's story, but what is she up to? Remember how we had mother for a computer? Well, now we have father. And this really stupid breath security device. I mean, we've had eye scans in films before. We got to do something different. Where did she get his saliva? Also, those boots, those could kind of work. You see, they have those sort of coils about them. They look like the xenomorphs, these boots that Call has. Oh, I think I know something about this gal. Something about Winona Ryder. I mean, Sigourney Weaver. Wait a minute, she's not carrying the alien. They extracted it. Man, that kid wasn't lying. Once you had corn with butter, everything changed. That's beautiful, real butter on this corn, popcorn. They're curious. I'm the latest thing. She talks. It's almost like Sigourney Weaver is doing the Terminator. Like, give me just a few lines, but I want them to be cool. Okay, evidently you can't make the pain stop. She doesn't have any pain. How does she remember this stuff? Are these things they told her and she has a good memory for being able to pick up on it? But the memories, they live on in your clone. They were in the DNA, well, whatever. Man, the knife through the hand effect is so much better than one would expect. I'll tell you, Alec Gillis, and I'd have to look at that again to see how much of that was practical. I know he must have pushed for as much practical as possible. I mean, this guy, his Twitter account, it said something like Academy Award losing effects creator, because it's like they wouldn't give him the win necessarily, but I mean, just everything's so top notch. He made General Zod in Batman versus Superman. That is not Michael Shannon. That is General Zod creation, and it looks like a real person. The body of General Zod. Oh, don't backtalk me. Yeah, does Ripley's clone, what do we want to call her? Does Ripley's clone here pick up on maybe something being off with Call? It's amazing the access the crew of the Betty has to the rest of this facility. It's a double cross. Joss Whedon must have thought that was cool. Yeah, take the gun from him, but then hand it back to him. You look tough. I don't know. Oh, time to go, Taxi Driver. Everybody, you got to look as pale as possible in this movie if you're going to fit in. Actually get some shots in. Doesn't even... I mean, it's supposed to be, hey, look how cool this looks. Your own recipe thermos, huh? Kills a lot of dudes here, and then they kind of just, all right, that's enough. These guys are no space marine, colonial marine sort. I mean, look at their goofy helmet. Oh yeah, it would be so cool if he can hit this ricochet shot, but it could still go through his advanced helmet. And you saw these guys just gun down like most of your buds here, but you're gonna like freeze. The xenomorphs have a plan. We're gonna pick on little sister. No, not me. Come on, you guys. Guys, I'm gonna call mom. No. This would be very different today. We'd have CGI alien versus instead of this very biomechanic, broken down close-up shots. It translates, like we get the idea of what's happening. I guess it's effective enough. But seeing the stark contrast of the alien close-up against all black is very original movie. It's very much like the 79 film, the way most of that was shot. I'm saying most of that, I mean the like insert of mechanical effects, piercing a head, whatever, the mouth going. Yeah, we waited for the doctors to be distracted. We knew the crew of the Betty was going to cause a problem, so then we melted the floor. That's what we did. Once one of these guys gets loose, oh shit. Snatch. Oh, she said alien. So too bad she didn't say there's going to be an alien resurrection. Dan Hedaya, man, those arms. The furriest shoulders I have ever seen. Yeah, kick that carcass a little bit. No, I guess the crew of the Betty, they can't fully be apprehended now because, well, hey, we learned a little something about the cryo-freeze liquid nitrogen here. Oh, snap. Sort of a trailer shot TV spot roar right there. Yep. No time to apprehend the Betty crew. We got other things on our hands. And really from here up, it is a aliens-like nonstop thrill ride. We have the cripple guy kind of go off on his own. Bert, I think. Was it Bert? Harry Dean Stanton's character. Now I gotta look this up. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, chaos amasses here. I guess she could have got out at any time if she knew she had the acid blood, which surely she knows. These poor guys. All right, I guess some of them do get away, but you got the boss here kind of leading the escape, and he has to throw the nade in. Alien cast. Brett. Why did I... God damn. Yeah, I shame myself there getting the cast of the Nostromo incorrect. Yeah, we were able to smuggle guns aboard because I have a wheelchair that's massive. Uh-oh, defense mechanism. That acid blood. Get some of your acid blood on it, Ripley. Come on. Yeah, knock the power out. That'll override the door. I wonder if some of this was inspired by Doom. Like, they were like, we want a little bit more shooter. We've all played Doom by this point. It was installed in like every computer by 97. And so I think you can see some Doom influence in the ship. Maybe the color scheme slightly. So what's the deal? Does the acid kind of get on your ear and it irritates you? Irritates. Because it didn't go through and like all the way. Here we go. Oh, the alien goes in, and I think that was a CGI alien there. The first fully CGI alien we've seen in an alien film. The part of the dome is CGI in Alien 3 when it cracks when the water gets on it. But the alien that people mistake as it's got bad CGI, that was a live action puppet shot in composite. I know the term go motion has been used for stop motion animation where with frame blurring, put like Vaseline on the frame between the shots, whatever. I feel like go motion should have been the term used for the live action puppet in real time. Now, I think the real time puppet work is used in Return of the Jedi with the thing, not the Sarlacc pit, but the troll monster that Luke fights. Oh, that's part of my brain. I might be needing that. But I think they sped it up. I don't think that was all. I think they either sped it up or they slowed it down, but I think they sped it up. Acted slow and sped it up. I think that's what they did. Trying to think here, but yeah, it wasn't a stop motion creature. What I'm saying is go motion is not a great term, but the live action rod puppet thing they did in Alien 3 was such a short-lived, like only for that movie effect that they never really had a name for it. And we're about to lose the captain of the Betty. If you didn't know any better, we cut to a guy that isn't necessarily one of the main dudes. Goes off on his own to investigate. He's dead. Captain of the ship, the crew that came in here. I mean, kind of expected Michael Wincott to stick around a little longer. But hey, that's just me, I guess. the graveliest voice you can imagine. I think he does a lot of game voiceover work. I say game voiceover, but I guess it's voice acting in a game. Cool looking weapons. We got to have cool looking weapons. They don't look nearly as cool as, oh God, what's the name of the pulse rifle from Aliens? I mean, that's iconic as all hell with that Franchi SPS SPAS 12 stock on it. All right, well, it's got the pump from that shotgun placed on it. Looks really badass. Wouldn't mind having one. Now, the way the world's gone right now, you need all the home defense you can get. Where are we biting into him from? I'm going to assume that was not biting him in the ass, but more through the back. And we've lost the captain of the Betty. The first Betty crewman is down. No. He gave me a pedicure. We got to rescue him. He is not in position to be telling you what did this. It's in front of the hull. We know, we're familiar with the dynamics of this ship. It's in front of the hull. Can't shoot it. We'll have an error issue. A lot of Dutch angles in this. It is off-putting, yes. So now essentially Raymond Cruz has joined them as sort of a hostage from their confrontation. I think Raymond Cruz, I'm going to look this up. Wouldn't he ding in Clear and Present Danger? Surprise, I knew that shot from a obstructed view would hit this thing in the head. No, it's random nonsense that a certain writer thought would be cool. Yeah, I think Raymond Cruz really had more of a later career resurgence. Like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, yeah. He was in Clear and Present Danger, wasn't he? Yeah, he was Ding Chavez. He's like the star of the early Rainbow Six games. Had the best stats in the whole crew. Dang. All right. There's only 12, huh? Get the feeling there's more than that. I mean, they get to work pretty quick. Okay, so are we at 2 down? One blew up in the getaway ship. One definitely right here. Did the cripple guy take out one? Let's say he did. So I guess 9. But the queen needs to count as one also. Or not. Winona Ryder's so out of her element here. It's bizarre. The casting choice is just strange. like going into this, she's in a period here where she's sort of Meg Ryan, Julia Roberts, a little bit of a rom-com type, but maybe more leaning a little more historical romantic. Here we go with the souvenir. If that thing's dripping any blood, that's a problem. See, things happen in this film that ruin the tone. It's so inconsistent. It's like, is it zany? Is it supposed to be kind of funny? It doesn't seem to be taking itself too seriously, but at the same time, not in the way that modern critics and audiences have really embraced. You know, it knows it's silly and it embraces it full tilt. No, it doesn't do that. It's just like, let's break up the tension and the or action with something goofy. Expecting Santa Claus? No, not necessarily. No, we weren't. Elgin? Is it Elgin? Elgin? He didn't make it, yeah. Yeah, I hate no offense. Because it's always like there was offense. I was talking about you in front of you to somebody else. It's a lazy ass line. Of course, we have introduced this like ticking time bomb element. It's not enough that we have the aliens after us. Now the ship is going to crash into Earth. Crash or return. Either way, if it lands gently on Earth, xenomorphs invade Earth. Possible big deal. We can't blow up the ship unless we get to our ship. Then we can blow this one up. You do have to wonder what the circumstance is on Earth. And throughout the franchise, we've seen people away from Earth. He says, Earth, what a shithole. Maybe he's not embellishing. Maybe part of everybody out exploring the stars is because we ruined our own planet. More of a snarky line here. You carrying these things before? Yeah, what happened? I died. Well, that's not encouraging. It would have been nice to get a little more of the alien chaos. Understand why they're coming through an area that's like a flooded cafeteria. Like, see how that went down. See what led to that. All right, it's time for a Ripley clone to learn that she's a clone. Though she knows she's a clone, she has to meet the 7 precursors. No shortage of noticeable light bouncing off the talent's eyes in this film either. It certainly has that. All right, let's see if we can keep count here. Do we think that's number one? I mean, we do have a living specimen on a table. Or in a bed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jars so far. We know one's in a bed. I couldn't see any other jars. We must have had... Okay, so she's coming up. Let's go to him as she comes to him. There's 3. Maybe alien head, more so. Where you like looking to connect with each one. You visit each jar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 jars spotted. In that wide shot. That one looks a little more like me. Fingers not so much. I mean, good ball control, but whatever. You never see anybody cosplay the Alien Resurrection crew or the Ripley clone, anything from this film. And we have a living specimen. Honestly, I'm not sure how much of this living specimen makes it to basic cable, because it's pretty grotesque. And it can actually talk. So did they develop some speech therapy here? You can see how it's got that sort of industrial-like tendon in the leg there. Yeah, as the aliens look like they're all cobbled together of pipes and rods and things. Here, if you want to kill it, here's a flamethrower. Do they have a flamethrower in every single alien? Don't they have a flamethrower-like device briefly in Alien 3? Trying to think if AVP films have them. I think there is some effort to shoot a flame in each of the Alien films. AVP included. Oh, is she getting like a rush of emotions here, huh? Doesn't seem like a calm, stoic, nice souvenir type now, does she? And one of the things about this is that I guess Sigourney Weaver is big anti-gun, yet known as one of the most prominent female action stars, primarily for the Alien franchise. Though weapon of choice, she doesn't go around shooting a lot of guns at things. That's for being one of the scientists. Or associated. You know, we gotta have a snide remark. It's my character. Waste ammo. Mm-hmm. It's pretty quiet around here. I thought we had a ship full of people. How many of them were able to escape? I wonder if were all the escape pods like in the same area? Like the cluster? Everybody head to the starboard side, you know? Oh, look, we got a scene with our strobe lighting. We got to have that callback worked in somehow, right? As random-like as it is, I'm not going to say it's a serious issue. It is an alien film doing something that's in the alien films. It's the shipment we brought. Yeah, rotten flesh tends to stink. It's my understanding of it. Wait a minute. There's a guy with glasses who looks like he's in... kind of looks like he's fresh out of Ridley Scott's 1984 Apple commercial. That guy knows something's up with him. Like he's probably has the alien in him. We got to do something about this. Hey, I just woke up. I didn't know I'm in space. Wait, you're saying you're not even a criminal when we brought you to here? There's some miner who got abducted. Can she smell the embryo in him? Yeah, she says I can smell it. I've got hypersenses. Didn't you see me play basketball? The audience knows what's inside them. Yeah, we're gonna go through this. Come on, what's inside me? No, tell me. No, what's inside me? Everyone's ignoring me. It must be really bad. I need to scream. It's gonna be hard to explain. All right, we're explaining what happened to the audience who already knows. The payoff for this character, he gets to deliver a gruesome death to a villain of sorts. We're back to telling it as it is, cold, emotionless Terminator Ellen Ripley clone. I'm the monster's mother. That part doesn't really make it in the TV spots. It's like, who are you? Grin. And it kind of just stomps on the grin. Like, oh, we know who that is. That's Ripley. She's back somehow. Okay. You know, selling part. Yep, we got to get rid of the chair. So the cooling tanks have been punctured, and this leads to I mean, it's weird. I don't know why this would... They're going through this spot. There's no other way through, and yet this little corridor is flooding the kitchen. Fortunately, this guy really knows the area. One of those things about movies, everyone can hold their breath a really damn long time. There is just no way the vast majority of these characters could get through this. Just the swimming alone. The amount of time underwater. Uh-oh. The hot chick's in the back. And she doesn't want to swim. This could be bad. And she's sporting those MMA fighter braids like before it was a thing. You know, long before women were doing MMA fighting. Or at least there certainly wasn't any UFC MMA fighting. Well, a lot of films don't actually put the talent in the water for swimming these days. So it's kind of nice to see some people actually underwater. It wasn't as easy to fudge back then. We have tons of air bubbles. Now we do have CGI aliens here. And they don't look horrendous. I mean, yeah, how much breath can you hold if you're like screaming underwater? Oh, she's just not that strong a swimmer. Your form is awful, Latina. She's Latina, right? Drop the gun. Try. No, you got to kick. You're squirming around. And then just kind of drug into the abyss. Weird look out of Clone Ripley here. Snake-like head movement, and then zoop. Back to swimming. Was that supposed to be, I guess I could go rescue her, but she doesn't have that big of a speaking role. I'll be on my way. Now our freight elevator has been, seen the interior decorating of the xenomorphs. Come on, you got to pierce the membrane. Get a sharp object in there. You guys aren't children. Why do you got to get all freaked out over this? All right, it doesn't really help that it's a bit of a hive. Music not awful. It is in line with the alien scores of past. It wouldn't look like a hand puppet in the egg. It's not a trap or an ambush. You stumbled across it. Yeah, I see reflection here, and I like to make things ricochet. Are we willing to call this bullet time? Slow motion grenade launcher shells. It seems like it's more bullet time when the camera rotates around and there's an element of dodging a bullet, but particularly the camera has to swoop around the bullet. That's when you get bullet time. Now, Sigourney Weaver's got much better swimming form, and I don't think she's been trained on it, this particular clone. No, I wouldn't think so. Here's a gun. Oh no, he shot her in the, I don't know where. Pointed the gun at her, don't see much in the way of blood or anything, and as she falls. Nor does there seem to be blood coming out as she's in the water. Interesting. Uh-oh, one of the xenomorphs below. And it can leap out of the water. A little odd there as they try to make a wet alien look. Kind of almost looked like it was hit with too much of a sharpening effect. Almost like it's crystallized. And it can dodge the shots. And there's the spit and acid. Oh my god. Now, the spitting the acid part here, I guess he was able to rotate around. The guy on his back is able to grab hold, but then has it not penetrated his brain? Like, where human skin seems to contain the acid a lot better than metal. And hey, this will look cool. I don't know how he's able to hit this shot. You'd have to lean so far over these guys to avoid shooting them. But is it an explosive round? That I don't know. And did we just get acid blood all over the place? But hey, there's a spider to shoot. Like Ron Perlman, he's got the fun role of sorts. Like, I'm gonna say something snarky and have some cool moments for sure. Little cripple guy can't hold him. Though people who, have no use of their legs, usually very strong in the arms. I say usually, but okay. There's a possibility of it. It's like, no, gotta let myself go here. I'm gonna do the real stoic, cut myself loose. No last words, just here I go. And part of me was thinking, well, maybe he'll show up later. Because right here we get Call shows up. We have no idea how she got into this position. Kind of makes you think there could have been a better way to go through this area. Here we go. The door's opening. Who could it be? Those are some cool looking boots. I got to find out what those look like. Outside of in this movie. Dropping popcorn all over the place. I'm sorry. All right. She's got some splaining to do. All right. Spilled in beans, Lydia Dietz. Did she get shot in the chest? All right, if you must know. Pretty big hole. But not human. You got that android milk. Now, I wonder if at this point in the future, synthetics have... You're about your second gen, aren't you? So I wonder how common the androids were, if there was a pushback from the humans to cease android development, like they got out of hand. Government ordered a recall, they said, yeah. A few got out intact, but you're breeding, or you guys are building each other. Man, it would be pretty hard to go back on the androids from where they last were in the franchise. If you develop them that far, but you're able to cut them off. I mean, I guess you didn't really have malfunctioning androids leading to a problem. So I guess if the company called for all of them to be destroyed, most of them would happen. Maybe a few people would save something, but because Ash didn't malfunction. It was ordered to kind of take out the crew for jeopardizing the possibility of capturing the Kane's son. This is kind of silly here. We have the way to access the computer. You have to use like this book. It's like it's a book computer. It clearly looks like a book with pages, but we've also worked this whole thing around Catholicism. Like, okay, we had mother, now we have father, and we have to do a little prayer and all. It's world building, Vaughn. Is it? Is it world building when it kind of distracts? I don't mind the computer sounding voice in these films. Like, it sounds a little echo, a little reverb versus sounding bit crushed. It's okay. I just have some indigestion. I'll be okay. Movie loves its Dutch angle. Which is, by the way, off-putting because it's not something that was prominent in previous Alien films. Generally, I think that the sequel should try to match the look and tone. Like, you should have a consistency within your franchise. All right, we got our ship online. Nice. Man, I love this popcorn. I love it. I actually watched a movie the other night. And actually, was it last night? I'm losing track of time. I had microwave popcorn because I had some microwave popcorn left over I need to get to before summer because it says it expires. I don't know how true that is. World of difference. If you have an air popper, that is the way to go, my friends. Oh no, I had my access denied. And we have a goofy Joss Whedon type line here. True to level 1, all aliens proceed to level 1. Yeah, they're going to know what that means. Also weird that really the only movie I can think of where interacting with the computer looks like you're shooting heroin. I mean, you see things like various versions of a USB port, even the spike that RoboCop has. Look at that near ring light effect that we just have bouncing off everybody's iris and pupil. I knew every little secret about the government, and I knew about you and the aliens and all this stuff. It's my mission to stop the aliens. We've slowed the movie down for things that don't need to happen. The call subplot did not need to be in the movie. I mean, really, the Betty comes here and delivers these people with or without her. Also, I need to point out here, Gary Durden's character, Christy, probably a last name. That masculine name given to, the gun-toting badass character, right? Doesn't that seem a little bit like Jane of Firefly? Doesn't it? It's almost surprising nobody's wandering around with like a stocking beanie in this movie. Hey, you want another souvenir? I kind of like that line. I guess if we're going to yank one souvenir, we get at least we go full circle with it. Maybe I'll yank his tongue. Poor Raymond Cruz looks like he's going to survive this movie. I mean, until he doesn't. And this is silly here, too. It's like we have a chance to all get out of here and blow the ship up, I'm assuming. Yet I want to go mingle with the queen because it's my child. It's in pain. Yeah, we're going to blow this stuff up. The plan wasn't to hang out with the aliens. I was really, in my first experience watching this film in cinema, I think I was in a shopping mall in probably like Penn Square Mall, Oklahoma City, possibly. It was Oklahoma City. Yeah, I'm kind of turning against the movie with all the Dutch angles and being kind of tough to see what's happening, and then this like I don't even know what's going on here. Getting pulled into the alien network vag. Like, I mean, what was she falling in through here? What's pulsating? That's not the queen's rectum. This scene doesn't look good either. Sort of, how are we going to show an alien picking her up and walking her towards the queen? Well, a lot of fading in and out. It's not a good look. This is not a good editing choice. Going to go now hang out with the queen in this aspect, I don't really like it. Oh, but Vaughn, you got the payoff of seeing the newborn. Payoff, really? No, look, I know Studio ADI, that's the name, right? ADI, the effects team, pretty proud of creating a new creature for the Alien films, being the newborn. I think it's a miss. It looks weird more than cool. To this point, everything looked cool in a way. Even the facehuggers looked cool. And the newborn having this like childlike voice, goofy smile type thing going, I don't care for it. Well, we got a stowaway. Come on, she's the only one that can fly the ship. Now here's the payoff for our spared prisoner. He was okay earlier, now he's not. And in his death throes, he gets quite strong and bullet resistant. Dude, it is not smart to be shooting a gun right here. You're facing what I'm assuming are windows of the spaceship. I mean, I guess this character has more place because he has a more valuable payoff than Call does, really. A little CSI style extreme close-up of the innards right there down to the embryo, and this thing comes out huge out of this guy's head. And that scene, not so bad. Don't mind. This guy over here, you're a pretty beautiful butterfly or whatever. It's like things like this are annoying me. The cocooned people here. This guy's weird scientific approach to it. And, he's so distant from, or he has disassociated himself from the circumstance. We keep talking of these creatures as being perfect. Hey, this thing's giving birth, it's perfect. Perfect organism, I think, is brought up in the first Alien film. And mentioned again in Alien Covenant. Now, so we get the impression that this xenomorph queen has picked up on some human traits here, being able to deliver the live birth in conjunction to the laying of the eggs. kind of the way we're looking at that, I think. You can definitely see some green, chromatic green look. Some of her highlights there on the shell of her head. In order to pull this off, I think you need some, I don't know what exactly, gelatin. Like, I am kind of curious what that membrane is right there. Maybe that's cheesecloth doused in a liquid of sorts. And there was an aspect to the newborn that they shot around and tried to blur out. I guess they had frontal female genitalia. That makes it awkward. I think that might have translated into like a maybe McFarlane's Sideshow figure retained it, but I think they digitally blurred what was in shots here after they had a print go out for testing. Now, look, you want to see cool Queen alien stuff, right? You want to see the Queen in action? Nope. Denied. Didn't they have to figure that this would let some of the steam out of the movie that, oh man, we just pissed off the audience now. But in order to build up your creature, you have to destroy what came before it, right? In order to make Rey Skywalker seem so cool, you got to kill off all the old heroes, except for Lando and Chewie and the droids. Even in doing so, that doesn't seem to make the newborn stronger. Like, it didn't look like that amazing of a whack that took the head off anyhow, but it's got the goofy puppy dog eyes. It does a bit of a grin. It's not I mean, it looks real, right? I mean, geez, it looks so real. It doesn't look like a person in a suit. But I don't really like the design. And I don't really like where it fits in the story. Oh, look, it thinks you're its mom. And I'm the annoying talking guy who's got its attention. He is not intentionally distracting it. Now what he wants to scream, huh? It says screaming, but he's got his mouth mostly shut there. Weird transition edit right there to a head with a wound. Frantic running. Oh yeah, depressurizing. Yep, somehow, no matter how bad things get in the ship, in the alien movies, all the alarms going off, we always have that artificial gravity, right? Assumption here is she can run super fast. Alien powers, she's basically a superhero at this point. You know, come to think of it, there's always that Whedon girl, right? Oh, yeah, Buffy. She's got to have the super fast reflexes or whatever, like she can kick ass. River Tam. This is your River Tam in this movie, guys. You know, if we want to say that this all leads back to Firefly, special powers, the government wants her. There you go. Weird, distant attitude. I thought you're dead. Yeah, I get that a lot. Some points here, she seems to be Ellen Ripley and not the clone. Yeah, now she's got charisma again. It's weird. Goes in and out. Actually, now that I think of it, was it Alien 3 where she was saying, like, I can't remember my life without you? Or did she say that late in this film? Maybe it was in Alien 3. Even though this is later, you'd think it'd be even more pertinent. Oh, come on. Surely the android. You got some super strength. These things don't really like to mess with the androids much. No food source. I'll help you lower the door. I'm not certain how tall the newborn is, but it's, you know, at least xenomorph height. Like we're looking at 7 feet plus. I'm telling you, she is going in and out of being Ellen Ripley. The Steam budget in this movie, guys, would make Valve jealous. Should androids be screaming in fear? You know, poor Raymond Cruiser. He should have the drop on it. He's armed. Now, she knew his name. Am I mistaken, or was he one of the... I thought Raymond Cruz was one of the military guys, not somebody on the Betty. I'd have to look again. That didn't matter that much. I think he was somebody that I think he was one of the guys in the ship with the military crew, kind of taken aboard. I know he played along. He realized that our real enemies, the xenomorphs. I think. It's not that... Don't be like, you didn't even pay attention. It's not that... It's not important. It's really not that pertinent to the story. Character didn't really have any payoff. Oh, he's playing with your plastic parts. Yeah, I'm the real mama. Look at me. Oh yeah, it's tall, all right. A tiny window. I wonder if this big-ass creature can be sucked through that. I mean... maybe unlikely. I think the pressure would equalize at some point. It may not be jelly enough, but, you know, maybe it's... As a newborn, it's got soft bones. Is that where we're working this angle? No, you betrayed me, Mom. What are you doing? I'm scared. Pretty gruesome vacuum sort of effect here, too, as they suck this thing out. every close to every alien encounter ends with the suction. You know, throw it into space in some capacity. We got CGI guts right there, but I mean, a lot of this looks better than I think it could have years later if all CGI. Skull and just goes boom. You know, those aren't CGI bits drifting off. That was more of a composite effect with practical elements. Three, two, one. Thank you. Kaboom. That gets used in movies. You know, self-destruct and T-minus. Goodbye. Kaboom. I don't like it. It doesn't sound... It sounds disingenuous. Oh, now we got the Starz logo encroaching in the film. Briefly. I don't think I saw that all movie. And it used to come up a lot on the Starz app. And it was obtrusive. There, got to get some more snark in with Ron Perlman. I think there's an alternate ending that showed more of Earth. But in a way, Ripley has finally come home in some capacity. So this is where we wrap things up. Like, she finally made it home, if you want to look at it that way. I think there was an alternate ending that showed, like, Paris. Like, the Eiffel Tower. You know, you always bring up the Eiffel Tower because it's recognizable, super recognizable landmark across the world. Surviving 2 males, an android, and a female clone with alien DNA. I guess you guys are assuming that landing isn't going to be a problem. Yeah, I think it was in Alien 3 where she said, "You've been in my life so long, I don't remember if that," where she cracked the pipe that... It was a xenomorph. She hits it, but it turned out to be a pipe. But even though in the shot before, it clearly wasn't a pipe. But yeah, anyhow. I think that's where she says that. So, that does it for Alien Resurrection. I would like to know where this film fits within your ranking of the franchise. Let me know in the comments below. I'm not sure what I've got in store for you guys next, but you know there will be something. Till next time, adios.